All right. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to a special afternoon edition of Comics Asylum Live. I'm here with special guests, Bruno Catarino from the UK. We've got Wilson in the lower corner, and one of my partners in crime, J-Man, to my, I guess, technical left, but virtual right. So anyway, how is everyone doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, no complaints, no complaints. Wilson, things are good on your side?
Yep, staying busy, as you know.
All right. And Bruno, how are things in the UK?
Yeah, very good. Just finished day of work, so it's always nice to have like some nice chat before winding down. So yeah.
All right. So we're going to be diving into some movies. And the topic is movies that people hate, but are actually great. And movies can be completely divisive. It's completely subjective. Some of them they're terrible. Like I will say that War of the Worlds is terrible. There's no one that can. The most recent one with
No, I haven't seen
Ice
it. I
Cube,
skipped it.
there is no way that you can say that it's redeemable in any way unless you turn it into a drinking game or something.
Right.
But yeah, we're gonna go through some, and there are gonna be some interesting choices for sure. And so with Bruno, we're gonna start with you since you are new to the asylum. What's a movie we had a chat and you gave me one that I know that will probably set at least one of our panelists here off.
That's probably me since I hate everything.
We'll see.
Do you want me to go there?
Yeah, go there. Let's go. Let's bring the fire at the start.
No, so the kind of the movie that I mentioned, when we first spoke, that I think that it's actually a misunderstood masterpiece. Well, masterpiece is probably a strong word, but let's say The Eternals.
Oh no! Yep,
I know.
Triggered.
All right, so let's see.
All right, go. Tell me what's my rating on that movie is 1 out of 10.
Oh, come on. No movie is 1 out of 10.
This one is.
War of the Worlds is top one. No,
yeah, this is 1 out of 10. I could justify it, but go ahead.
No, I mean, I think people were... So a lot of people say that it should have been a show, and I probably kind of agree with that. You could probably have explored a lot more the characters. But I think that's part of the problem, is that people were so used to these characters that they know so well from, the MCU, over a decade of films, 22 movies or whatever it was. And then there's like this new thing which has 10 new characters that nobody knows. That is, even the comics, they are kind of not super well known either. But yeah, I don't know. I personally liked what they did with the story. I would have liked to have seen more. I think that Chloe Zhao, and I'm probably murdering, her name, the pronunciation of her name. I think she did a really good job. I really like that a lot of the effects are kind of on location. So it's not like, it's not obviously a green screen in most of the shots. Yeah, there are a few special effects that you're like, this seems a bit old school or, bad for nowadays standards. But I think, I don't know, I like the film. I think that there's a lot of good qualities. A very good representation of Speedster compared with, how everybody else has been doing Speedsters in superhero films. I think there's a lot of really great stuff in that movie. I don't know. Tell me why you hate it.
There's like many reasons. Okay, nothing in the story makes any sense. The beginning crawl opening that tells you the gives you the information. I've only seen it once in the theater ages ago, but the opening crawl lies, because halfway through the movie you find out it's not that. So how can you give us text in the beginning to set up a story and then say, oh, that was just a lie to trick the audience? It's stupid. When what's-her-face, Salma Hayek, dies, she should have either have died later or early on so we can see the mystery play out. Why does everyone pick the faction they're with? No clue. The one guy hates humanity, then he loves humanity because he met someone, but he super hated humanity 1 minute ago. We need to see more. If you're going to do such a big character change, we need to see way more like way more why you changed your mind. The other thing too is like, okay, if they're supposed to be the Greek gods in the comics, right? If you've changed genders and races of characters and you've set them in like ancient times, and people are watching these multiracial, multi-gendered characters perform feats of greatness, how could there be racism? Like it's like if you, because the whole point of it is that you're segmented into your little spots. Like all of the Greek people only saw other Greek people. All of the Norselanders only saw the Norse guys. Or like everyone just sees, like like Japan and China, they're all seeing themselves. So if you have all of this multiracial stuff, they change it from the comics. When you see all of this, it's like, how can there be racism? Like you'd be like, oh look, there's a black person performing these great feats. They're gods. So why would every statue, every piece of art, everything that's ever happened in any culture only reflect its own race? It's like by changing all this and making it diverse, they messed up like Earth's actual timeline. And then there's the why don't the Eternals? So the Eternals wanted to stop the Celestial from destroying Earth, but Thanos was going to wipe out half of all living existence. So why wouldn't they interfere? Like he was much worse. He was going to do much worse than what the Celestials were doing. Plus, if they're so programmed to be the Celestials, dogs or whatever, how did that, if that got broken, okay, that's fine. But the thing is that they're lying to themselves. And then like, why wouldn't Salma Hayek immediately say what's going on? And then they also turn Icarus, who is Superman. Icarus is supposed to be the super good guy. They turn him into a villain and a pathetic loser. It's a disgrace to Jack Kirby. It's a disgrace to his comics. It's also a boring, stupid movie that I can't stand anyone. I have a system of rating, which I call SPACE: story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. The enjoyment is 0. I hated every minute of it. The characters all sucked. The artistry was pretty good. That's why I gave it 1 point for that. The pacing is garbage. It takes forever. And the story is bonkers garbage. Like, I haven't seen it since the theater, so I don't remember exactly, but if you pause that movie and say, what's happening? I have no idea. Like, this person joins Icarus because I guess he or she or he or whoever it is likes him. Well, then you got to show that better. Like, I don't know. It's really bad. Like, I know that's great that my other friend liked it as well. So you're not the only one. He loved it. He said, oh, it was great and all that. And I'm like, okay, but there's like 400 problems with this movie. And they all stem from, I think I'm better than Jack Kirby syndrome. I know Jack Kirby had and they're all C-listers, all that stuff. Like they're saying in the chat, like they're unknown characters. When you have unknown characters, the best thing to do is to be faithful, because you don't have to try to change them for any reason. It's like nobody knows who they are anyway, so you may as well just adapt it. If you're not going to adapt it, why are you making it? This person, whoever the director is, made one movie previous to that, and they got a 3-hour epic superhero film. I don't like any. And the opening crawl, it says it's in the beginning. It says all this stuff, and then that's all a lie because they're not that thing. It's like saying 1962, and then you're watching the movie. Haha, it's not 1962. You tricked me. It's a twist. No, you lied in the credits. Like, you're not supposed to lie in the credits. It's like Conan, the age of high adventure, right? And then it's like, haha, it's not that age. It's like, you lied to us. I really hate it. I still own the movie, of course, because I bought it. Sorry, I didn't mean to like completely like, but like I really, really, really hate it badly. It's not just a bad movie. It angers me because Jack Kirby is like my favorite, and he's the most creative person ever. And anytime you change any of these movies, MCU movies, if it's a Jack Kirby thing, and I don't feel that it's paying respect, it's going down. There's my Eternals. I gotta take a drink after that.
No punches pulled.
No, none. So Bruno,
Yeah,
is there anything that you're going to refute on that, or?
I mean, given the reaction that it provokes, probably not. But
no, you can definitely. So the thing is, doesn't it? Okay, I know they wanted to make it diverse, but that messed up the concept, right? Like, if you have Greek gods and all the Greek gods are different races, then the Greeks wouldn't be racist, right? Like
I haven't watched the movie in a while, but are they supposed to be Greek gods?
Yes, in the comics.
It was kind of like wasn't that something like in Babylon or something like that, where the movie is set, something like that? Or
Well, they appear in
Mesopotamia,
different
or
in different sections, but
in different periods over different times in different areas.
right. That's my point. They're making it seem like if you are a little community of people, so like in Africa, it'd be all African tribes. So if you see a white person or a woman, and they would think women are they're just there to give birth, right? It's like, but you see a woman doing all this stuff, you're like, wow, okay, women can aspire to be more. Like, I feel like they made it so diverse that they've messed up their own like world in a way, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird.
I'm going to refute that one, because I think that goes a little bit beyond the movies. Is that you were saying that, how could they be racist, or how could there be racism if there is, people of color doing like this
in ancient times, times where you're super susceptible to like, oh my God, like, you have the reverse, I would think.
Well, you had exceptional women basically being called witches, right? Throughout history, simply because they were exceptional, right?
Well, they couldn't do anything either. So if they weren't witches, because they couldn't actually magically do anything. So,
well, that's the thing,
But these people could. You saw them do stuff. You saw them running around and doing shit. Like, holy shit, they're gods.
But for example, I mean, you have, Black people performing really well in sports, things that nobody else can do for, decades. And they're still, there's still racism. There's all these. I don't think that is I don't put it like that, but I don't think it's a valid argument that the diversity the diversity in the movie would ruin that, because we have examples in history where
But this is like prehistory.
It's not because they're good; it's because they are witches, or because they are possessed by the demon, or there's like people.
We can debate that if you want to, but it doesn't matter. The movie's still boring and long, and like, what is the story? Like, what, like Icarus, like. The racism thing, I'm saying that if it's prehistory, the reason why there is racism at all is that you don't trust outsiders. That's the core reason of it. But if you see outsiders performing feats and you see a Black person doing all this great stuff and you're some Viking, and then you see a Black person, you'd be like, oh, hey, that looks like that god that just jumped over the buildings and beat up monsters. That's pretty, okay. Maybe we should worship these people, or maybe they're better than us. Like, I don't think you would have that. But that's why, like, a Norse mythology would have all the Norse gods would be white, right? Like, because it's like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Even if you ignore that, why do some people, like the Indian guy, I don't remember his name. He was a Bollywood actor and he was doing really great, right? So why does he hate humanity? Like, why does he join Icarus in order to go against humanity when humanity's been so good to him? And it's like, just because he wants to be loyal to Icarus? Yeah, but he's had 5 billion years of people loving him, right? Or whatever it is, 5,000 years of people loving him. And he's like, I like Icarus. Like, it's weird, right?
Yeah, I can't remember the reason, but I kind of
there is no reason. They don't say it. He just,
I kind of remember
that's what I'm saying.
He just turns and he just goes,
yeah,
I'm done with this, right? It's like, it doesn't really take a stand. It doesn't take a side. I think he just walks away, right? If I remember correctly.
You might, I don't know.
Quickly weigh in, I think, on the two arguments around that. I think, so the first one, I think, talking about like historical perspectives for people and like different like races or cultures or whatever. I think it's possible that if they didn't see those people as like heroes within their community, but like these are like representations of gods, I think there are like pantheons out there where within predominantly white like pantheon, there's still the dark god or whatever else, right? And yet those cultures over time still metastasize into being racist and other stuff. So I think it's okay that they went multiracial with it, and people still turned out racist, or the cultures did, because it's just whatever they interpret those gods to be over time, right? What they mean. Whereas, like, I think you hit the main thing, like, J-Man, about like what was the movie about, right? And I think that's the worst part of the movie. Like, we don't have much other than they essentially set them up as like they're androids, right? And it's like, do they follow their programming or they don't? And that kind of like explains like why does the factions decide to go this way or that way, but it's not really well discussed. It's not really well challenged of like, do they accept the fact that they're androids and they're programmed, or they're just supposed to do what they're supposed to do, right? But that's like the only point I can find in that movie, or what it's trying to say about anything, right? Are we our programming, or are we our own people? I don't have anything else other than that in that movie.
I will agree that movie is boring as hell. I wanted more. Like with J-Man, I wanted more. Because the Eternals were never a book that I read. They were more like, I was curious about them because of how awesome the designs were. And then they would show up either in Thor or FF, you know, and pique your interest that way. And then they had the revival with John Romita Jr. Drawing it a couple of years ago. And so they're always one of those, they're almost like they're a brand that is really interesting, but not sustainable, if you understand what I mean. It's kind of like the New Gods, again, another Kirby thing.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like they're perfect for miniseries. They're perfect for like short runs, but they get 30, 50 issues out of it. I don't know if people outside of Kirby can handle it. And I think
you're right.
The same thing happened with this film, because I agree with what Bruno's saying. I agree with J-Man, and Wilson, you're on point as well too. I'm just thinking from inside the MCU thing. What the hell is that hand sticking out of the ocean mean and not be addressed the entire last phase we've been in? I think they've mentioned it once, right? Like how and how does that not then awaken other celestial beings like a Galactus or whatever in the 616? And it doesn't change Earth's atmosphere. It doesn't change the planet's rotation. It doesn't do any of those things. And it's like what am I watching? If you understand what I mean.
It's just lazy. It's lazy writing. They're just like, oh, let's just do Eternals. Oh, okay, what is your idea? Like, I don't know.
I mean,
I'll just
the
make
start of the phase was about like trying to build out the universe, right? Beyond the heroes. Like, what are the gods of this universe? How does everything work? But I don't know.
You know, Kirby's original Eternals is not supposed to be in the MC. It's not supposed to be in the 616. It was supposed to be its own thing. And then they're like, you have to have Hulk in it. And it was like a robot or whatever the hell it was, right?
Yeah, I have that.
I remember that. Yeah. Okay. So the thing is that at the end of the day, even if the plot is bad, I usually go by end of the day, the characters. If I like a character and I believe in that character, and that character's in a not great movie, I will give it a pass, which will be the movie that I'm going to talk about when it's my turn. Okay. But in this one, I hated everyone. And Icarus is supposed to be the super good, clean cut, nice guy. He's the superhero. And they turned him into the villain, and he's crying and whimpering to that girl. And that is done literally for Disney's agenda or whatever. What is that? Why does that character have to be that way? They literally didn't want to have the blonde-haired guy be the main guy, so they made him bow down to her. That's it. I don't see any story reason. I don't see any logical reason. I don't because they do these things all of the time. And sometimes there's a logical reason for them, and sometimes there's not a logical reason for them. Or there's sometimes a thing where you can kind of see that it makes sense, right? Like when they moved from World War II, or when they were so far removed from World War II in Captain America, it would be very difficult to have the original Sergeant Fury still be that, because he would be dead by now. So they're going by the Ultimates version. So they got, which is really actually based on Sam Jackson. So they got Sam Jackson. So then comic book people are like, okay, I get it. You have to have Captain America in World War II because that's the core of the character. And because he's frozen, he could be frozen for 20 years, 30 years, 50, whatever. But the further in real life we get away from World War II, the longer he's got to be frozen if you want him in present day, the less, the Howling Commandos, well, they're going to be dead, right? Like they were still alive and older in those original comics because that still was okay. But now you're like, well, Nick Fury's dead. Duggan is dead. All these guys are dead. So it was a stretch to even have what's her name alive, right? And she was like 90 on that bed or whatever. So it was a stretch for her. So they're like, okay. So then the comic fans don't get pissed off because they're like, okay, well, yeah, you're going to use the current Nick Fury, who is the Ultimate's Nick Fury, and you can cast Sam Jackson. And I think he was based on Sam Jackson when they drew it originally. So that makes sense. But this is like nonsense. It's just there's no reason for it at all. That's another thing. I don't like he's the hero. Why'd you make him the villain? You couldn't. Does Marvel have any villains? I don't know if Marvel has any other villains. Let's make the good guy the villain just because of whatever reason we feel like it. Like, come on.
That's the MCU. Like, that's my big thing with the MCU. Marvel has amazing villains, and it's always heroes fighting heroes.
Right.
It's mind-boggling. And then whenever it's a villain that they actually pick, it's an absolute mirror of the hero. It's never someone who's completely divergent. And I think that's why the Spider-Man movies, whether you think they're flawed or whatever, even that horrendous third one from Raimi, the villains are completely different. Yeah, because we had this conversation. We had this conversation a couple of days ago, right? But Doc Ock does not look like Spidey. Green Goblin does not look like Spidey, right? In a lot of the MCU, it's Ironmonger versus Iron Man.
Yeah.
Right? Killmonger is,
and then Whiplash just gets the same technology. Even though I love Whiplash and think he's hyper underrated in that movie, but anyways,
yeah, for sure. So let's get to some of the comments. So we've got Simply Steve 68.
Hey, Steve.
LOL, critical drinker would agree with your statement. I'm assuming
I'm not sure which statement. Well, he hates most things, so I'm assuming he's with me.
He goes, yep, Eternal characters were B and C listers. Absolutely.
Probably C listers, I would say.
Probably C listers. Vogs 18. Hey, J-Man, hope to talk to you again soon. Absolutely. And Simply Steve kicks in again with the comic books were their own storyboards to take things to adapt from. Why don't they ever consider doing them that way? So, Bruno, I'm going to throw this one to you, and then I'm going to let Wilson chime in on this one as the two filmmakers. Why do you think they always stray from the storyboards when considering Sin City was as faithful to the storyboards as you're going to get, and they did not go wrong?
I mean, there's been examples of, going away from the original and still making something decent. I'm trying to think about one, but yeah, I mean, I'll put it like this. As a writer, if I had to adapt something, I would not do the same thing that had to be done. So as a writer, I would not do that. I would not be able to do that because, yeah, like you said, Kirby did it. It was great. Nobody needs to try to replicate what Kirby did, right? Because it's good. Just do something new, do something fresh. Is it too different? Maybe it's too different, and maybe that's what angers people. But I don't know. So you were mentioning that before that Chloe Zhao has only made one movie. That's not really true. She's actually quite. She's done quite a lot in the films, but yeah, I think she's the kind of filmmaker that she tries to tell a story that's more, make it her own, that sort of thing. And yeah, I kind of understand that, because if it was me, I probably would have done something like that. I would not have done the thing that has been done. I would not try, what worked. And yeah, I don't know. It's just my way to look at it. It's yeah. I mean, I'm rambling, but that's basically it. I think that's it. There's no point doing what has been done, and that's why if you want the story that was told in the comics, read the comics, right? That's if you want something for movies, it needs to be adapted in some way. Some properties can be directly adapted, others can't, right? I'll give you one. This is Comics to Comics. Has anyone read Chip Zdarsky's Spider-Man life story?
No, I haven't.
Right.
I think I did, and I've met Chip Zdarsky. He was out of the library, like 5 minutes away from me. He goes to the library. He was at the Mississauga Library. I'm like, oh, he was there when you were. I think you were there.
Yeah.
So
Chip's cool. Chip's a very cool.
Yeah, he's a super chill guy.
Yeah, so I think that adaptation of Spider-Man is a masterclass on how to adapt, something that exists. He adapted 60 years of, Spider-Man story into 6 issues, and it's beautifully done. It goes through the entire, the basically the entire, lore of the character in 6 issues, and changes quite a lot. It does change quite a lot, and it still works, and it works beautifully. And it's a great book. I absolutely recommend that book. Yeah. So I think that's the reason. I mean, in movies, it's even more of a different medium. I mean, I started doing movies first. When I started writing comics, I had to learn how to write, for static images rather than moving images, right? It's the storytelling is still the same, but you kind of need to think in frozen images instead of moving images. And I think that when you move from a comic book form to a film or to a series, the same kind of needs to be done. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's the way to do it, is if you're adapting something, change what you need to change, make it your own. In the case of the MCU, they also had to serve, Feige's vision, the whole, they have like, this million plans of what they want to do next. So yeah, it still needs to, it can be its own movie, but it still needs to fit into the bigger thing. So yeah, I guess that's, feel free to disagree, but yeah, if someone makes, I will say this, there's 2 MCU movies that were done recently that, as much as I like the movie, and I'm not going to say which movies they are, as much as I like the movies, I think they are the most necessary films that were ever made, because there's nothing new about them. It's really that. It's the story that we've seen before, with some changes. So yeah, do something different. I like that. So yeah.
Is there a 4 in one of the titles?
In one of them, yes. I can tell it. The other one has a man in the title.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Wilson. So what do you think?
Yeah, like quickly, ancillary to the question, but relating to influence. But what J-Man was saying about Icarus is that anyone out there, if they know better, like correct me if I'm wrong. But I was just checking, and like the Injustice, like video game and the comics came out in the mid 2015, around there, right? And then a couple years after that, we got Jupiter Legacy for Netflix, and then within a year, we got The Boys, Invincible, and
Right.
Eternals,
Yeah.
right? So I think everyone was searching for the bad Superman.
Yeah, I don't like Bad Superman. Hate it.
Yeah, yeah,
I absolutely despise it. It makes me angry.
When did Brightburn come out?
Oh yeah, Brightburn. I saw that, but that's not a superhero thing. That's sort of, I know it. Yeah, it's kind of like if Superman was evil or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
like,
that was 2 years before Eternals. So
Right.
yeah, all within that space, right? So I'm thinking that's where all that sort of influence came from, because Injustice
Might be
was
right.
kind of popular and different, I think, for people, and I think that is what to answer the question more directly is, like, when directors come in, and the writers, I think they're looking for like something that speaks to them about these characters' stories, right? And so for a lot of them, if they're not, like a James Gunn comic book fan, then they first try to find what it speaks for them. Then maybe they go further into the research and dive further, or the studios give more input into how the story should fit more for those characters. But I think as a good filmmaker, you want to try to find something that you can understand first, so that you know how to try to tell it. And so I think going back to Chloe Zhao, I think all of us at least recognize the artistry of Eternals, right? To at least, in its worst, give it at least okay, it looked beautiful, right? And based from what I understand I've seen of her movies, like that's kind of her hallmark. She knows how to do it, like as almost like a photographer, cinematographer herself, in looking at that kind of stuff. It's just whether that kind of I get that Marvel at the time was probably trying to get something different by hiring all these indie showrunners, directors to come in and give a different feel to some of the movies. But there's a reason why a bunch of them filmed their they did the production days, and then on all the reshoots they were fired, and people were brought back on, right, like an Ant-Man and other stuff, because they went a little too far out of the mainstream, right, for the studio. So yeah, but I have to agree. I mean, there's a movie that has a 4 in it for me as well, and as much as I liked and enjoyed that movie, it did feel like I've read the comic books, or I've seen the cartoon, and I don't know if I needed that on the screen. Well, actually, I did, because I enjoyed it. But I think if I had brought like my wife, she might have been like, I don't know, I don't get it. What's going on? What does this mean for the MCU? She cares about the MCU, and like, how's that universe?
So, some great points, but let me throw this one in here. Whenever someone does a period piece like Shakespeare or Pride and Prejudice, they don't really stray much from it. And Lord knows, they kind of retell the same stories pretty much. You might get some casting that you're not agreeing with, but like, how many Romeo and Juliets other than the Leonardo DiCaprio one are kind of the same thing? It's almost like it's vanilla ice cream, and vanilla ice cream is my favorite, so don't knock it. I
also like vanilla ice cream.
Right? But it's kind of like, we want, like, for certain things, just give me the comfort food. Yeah. Don't put any kind of weird stuff, no sprinkles, no nothing.
Right.
And maybe it's the reverence. Because like, when you think I think it was you, Wilson, who said James Gunn. Like, when you think of the people that are really in the industry that are also parts of these franchises, like Henry Cavill, when do they run into trouble? When they know more about the stuff than the producers do. And they're like, well, you can't do The Witcher that way because I've played the games. Or like, Cavill's telling them the way the character goes. And yet you'll have the filmmakers come in and say, well, this is our vision or whatnot. And I get that. But that's almost like, well, then maybe you're not right for the project.
Okay, so on that, 300, Watchmen, Sin City, those were only one thing. So it was easy. Superman, Spider-Man, there's 4 million comics. What are you adapting?
Yeah.
However, what are you excited for? I love Spider-Man. I'm so excited. I can't wait to do the Spider movie. Oh, I am going to change this, because these things don't speak to me. Then why are you a fan of Spider-Man? Are you a fan of Spider-Man? Like, you're not a fan. You're a fake fan. It's like, that woman doesn't care about Eternals. She's like, I'm making a movie for Marvel. That's all she cares about. And Marvel's going to control her. That's where they get her. They don't care. So anyone who's written a comic, should I take their comic? You did a comic. Bruno's got one, right? So I'm going to take your comic. Like, I thought it was pretty good, except these three characters are trash. I'm going to change them to what I think is better. Use your name in your comic, and then I'm going to make money. And everyone's going to watch that, because more people watch that than read your comic. And they're going to be like, that's what it's all about. That's not how it goes. Why does everyone love Sam Raimi's Spider-Man? Right, because when you watched it, you're like, wow, this kind of feels like it's Spider-Man. And they made changes. Organic web shooters, that sucks. For 2 seconds, I was like, organic web shooters, F this movie, it's shit.
It wouldn't come out of his wrist, J-Man.
Exactly, that's what I thought. I said that and sit in that theater. Wouldn't it come out of his butt?
Absolutely.
But the thing is, you watched it, and you're like, Sam Raimi's a fan of Spider-Man because this all feels good. This feels like it's Spider-Man. Why is Spider-Man 3 not as good? Because he doesn't like Venom. How do we know this? Because we saw Spider-Man 3. How do I know she doesn't like Eternals? Because I watched her movie. It's like, you can tell when someone, you can tell what's his face loves 300 and loves Sin City, right? He loves Sin City. He's like, I love this so much. I'm not going to change any. The comic is going to come to life, right? My favorite color is green. So when I do a Superman movie, I'm going to give him a green cape and a green S because I like green. And then let's get the army of people saying, well, it's Jay's interpretation. It's not Superman. Like, it's not the guy. If every single thing was exactly the same, but the S was green, it's not Superman. And I'm going to say, no, I'm a fan, guys. Promise you, I'm a big fan of Superman. No, you're not. Because If you are a fan, why don't you like the red S? Well, I like green better. It's my interpretation. It's bullshit. It's your interpretation, your own comic. Why don't you? Disney has enough money. Why don't they give her something that she wants to do and do a comic that she wants to do, or her own story? You're adapting something. You have to respect the person you're adapting it from. Like, period. Anytime they've strayed big time, that's when the movies, and some movies could still be good. Like Constantine is a good example with Keanu Reeves. I did not see that movie in the theater. My buddies were like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, "You know what? That's not Constantine. He's not British. He doesn't even have the right colored jacket, for Christ's sakes. He can't give him a red tie. You can't give him a tan jacket. Really? What does that mean? Oh, it's my interpretation. Well, your interpretation sucks." So I finally saw the movie. I thought, this isn't really a bad movie. It's actually pretty entertaining. Yeah, but it's not Constantine. So what am I left with? How am I going to review this movie? It's not Constantine if you read anything, but it looks pretty good. It's got some things. He's fighting demons, I guess, or whatever ish. So what's the point of that movie? So if you like that movie and they gave him a British accent, gave him blonde hair, gave him the tan jacket, and it's the same movie, would you say it's worse? Oh, I don't like that it matches the character I know. I want it to not be the character to make it different. Like, I don't understand. That sounds like that sounds like Mortal Kombat, that last movie. I always saw that because I looked at my poster. Everyone thought it wasn't too bad, but there's no tournament.
Yeah.
Clay, is that the guy's name? He's not one of the selectable characters. Mortal Kombat has 5,000 selectable characters. I've been playing since Mortal Kombat 1. You couldn't pick anybody? You've made up a new guy? What about Liu Kang? Remember that character from Mortal Kombat 1? Oh, we want to have a strong female. Perfect. Have Sonya Blade be the man. At least pick someone from the first, maybe even from part 2. Right? No, they pick, and everyone walked out of it saying, that character is not from Mortal Kombat. This sucks. There's no tournament. What's going on in this movie? And then I'm going to say, well, it's the director's interpretation. They didn't like Liu Kang. They liked this other guy better. They wanted their own thing. You're going to be like, well, then it's not Mortal Kombat, is it? No, it's not Mortal Kombat. It's a movie that has Mortal Kombat people in it that we're calling Mortal Kombat because I guess that's what we're calling it. That's my thing. Like, again, if they take in Watchmen, they changed the whole ending. There's no squid.
Yeah.
Right? Now, as a kid, I thought Watchmen was boring and stupid. Right? Then I read it again. I have the original issues. I read it again multiple times. It's one of my favorites. I have every toy, statue, the big dolls. I have that movie, then the 4K, best edition, whatever, rant. There's all my Watchmen stuff down there. And I don't like that they got rid of the squid. However, I understand in the movie they did why the squid might be weird. That's a general public thing. The general public might be like, wait, what's happening? Because that movie's already a lot to take in. Because of all of the layers and the deconstructing of everything, that's already a weird movie, right? So people might be like, I can't. So they change the ending. And I've got a buddy. He's like, F it. It's not the ending. F this movie to hell. I'm like, I understand what you're saying. I still really like the movie because they did as much as they could. I understand that Manhattan, in that movie could be seen as a threat, and making him a common villain is easier to digest for an audience than having this third act giant squid thing where people are like, wait, what is happening? Is there aliens? Like, even as a kid, I thought, this is dumb. What is happening? Now I understand it as an adult, right? But in any case, 300 is an exact copy. It's tough with Spider-Man, who's got 5,000 comic books. How are you going to do it? But Sam Raimi did it a couple of times. He almost did it a third time with Sandman looking pretty good, but he changed. What did he do? Oh, Sandman is there with Ben. Raise your hand if you thought that was a good idea. No one. Everyone's like, that's stupid. Why is that there? Well, it's Sam Raimi's interpretation. Well, guess what, Sam? It sucks. That's your interpretation? Well, it sucks. Right? And people don't give him a pass. There's a lot of cool stuff in that movie, and people nail him for that point of view, the Venom point of view. But all of these other movies that people are giving a pass to have done way worse grievances than that movie. Yet, and you know why that movie is getting more shit on than the other ones? Because the first two were so good. They were so on point. You're disappointed that it didn't match the first two, because the first two were pretty good to the spirit of Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man is not Iron Man's junior partner who gets technology. What the shit is that? Spider-Man predates Iron Man. What is happening? Like, right? So Tom Holland sucks. He's the fake Spider-Man.
And
right.
And Parker is a genius.
Right.
Is as smart as Banner, Reed, Tony,
Yep.
T'Challa in his own way. He just
Yep.
doesn't have the resources.
He doesn't. If Peter Parker had the resources of Tony Stark, whoosh, like we're talking Reed Richards levels, right? Like Reed is still like.
Because I remember, because I was a Spider-Man fan, still am a Spider-Man fan.
I gotta go in like 1 minute.
No worries. But I remember when they were, he was looking at Spidey's web shooters. It might have been during Secret Wars or whatever. And
Right.
Reed was impressed with the ingenuity. And that's why he brings Spidey in to be part of almost like Fantastic Five, essentially, in some of the books.
Yep.
Because he's Johnny's friend already. But he's then even Johnny's like, if you guys are going to start talking science, I'm out of here.
Yeah. But no, exactly. Like, anyways, my thing is the Marvel movies, the MCU movies that have been the best and most well received are the ones that stick closest to the spirit. It's very difficult to copy one comic of Captain America who's from the 40s, Superman 1938. How are you going to do Superman, right? I hated that new Superman movie, by the way. It's going to be impossible, right? You got to get the spirit. Even General Zod in Superman 2 is not General Zod from the comics. Hashtag this isn't, and then this isn't the General Zod I know, right? But they changed him.
J-Man, before you go,
yeah,
give us 30 seconds on your disgusting movie that is
okay. Everyone hates this. The Christopher Reeve is the master of everything. He is the real Superman. Everyone else is fake. Kirk Allen's pretty good, and George Reeves is not too bad. But Christopher Reeve is the real Superman. All 4 Superman movies are awesome because he is that character come to life. It's not a movie version. Oh, his costume, we have to change his costume because some bullshit reason that we made up. It's like, oh, it's the real S. It's the real suit. He looks awesome. He's a gentleman. He's a good person. Superman 3 is crazy underrated. Oh, there's some goofy stuff in it. Right. There's never been anything goofy in any comic ever. So yeah, that's completely out of place. It's like, have you read anything from 1938 to like 1965 or whatever? Have you read any of those? It's like, there's tons of cheesy shit in there. Okay. He's 4 characters. He's evil Superman, which I don't like, but I do like it in this movie because it's fun. He's mean Superman. He's Superman. He's Clark Kent in the city, goofy, bumbling, fumbling around. Then he's Clark Kent at Smallville. He still has to maintain a little bit of the goofiness, but it's way toned down. He's not as clumsy. He's a little bit clumsy. This is all played by one actor who just through subtle movements and changes completely change. When you see the evil Superman, you could tell exactly the millisecond he started to be weird, right? He's like, he just sits down. He's like, how's it going? And you're like, whoa, what's wrong? Why Superman? What's going on? You even immediately, my little nephew watched it. He's like, is something wrong with Superman? I was like, oh shit, right? Superman 3 is badass. When he fights himself, like that's a whole like psychological battle. That is one of the coolest things ever. And then the music plays, he chokes himself out, comes up, flies up. I mean, that is great. People wanted Brainiac. People wanted Brainiac, right? They didn't get Brainiac. Superman 3 sucks. They didn't get Brainiac. Superman 4 sucks. They didn't get Brainiac Man of Steel. I thought it was pretty good. They didn't get Brainiac in this new garbage movie. Oh, I still think it's pretty good. How come you guys aren't consistent? These movies all suck because you didn't have Brainiac in them. And now that Brainiac is not in this one, it's okay because James Gunn is, whatever. So Superman 3 and Superman 4 is awesome as well. Superman 4, they make a guy to fight him. That's how cool is that? Lex Luthor makes a guy to fight Superman. That's awesome. And he does fight him. And there's not BS crap like in this latest movie where it's like, oh, he's in a mask or some shit. It's like, if you want to frame Superman, you have a clone of him. Why don't you use the clone to go do a bunch of bad stuff and then say, look, Superman's doing all this bad stuff. No, let's have a convoluted plot about breaking into the fortress and hopefully finding information. Anyways, I love Superman 3 and I love Superman 4. I love all 4 of those. Superman 3 is crazy underrated. The performances by Christopher Reeve is like 10 out of 10. And it's a standalone Superman movie. You don't need any backstory. It doesn't continue. It doesn't set up the universe or whatever bullshit they do now. It's just a movie. And you can take your kids to it. Your kids can walk out and be like, wow, that was exciting. Exactly. And they have some fun with it. Richard Pryor is awesome in everything that he's in. I don't care. Just him being there is awesome. He's super funny. I love Webster where he goes, it's not that everyone can't succeed. They all must fail. It's like, I have to succeed and everyone else has to fail. It's like, he's a great character. The supercomputer at the end is cool. Superman outsmart. Remember how Superman is actually very smart? They never seem to show this in movies. Superman 3, they set it up. Remember in movies where they had foreshadowing and they'd set shit up? Remember the chemicals in the beginning? It's like, well, these chemicals are pretty normal, but if they get unstable, it transforms into a different chemical. It was experimental stuff that the computer didn't know about because it was a solo factory. He brought that and destroyed the computer through intelligence. He can fight. He's smart. All that stuff. I love Superman 3. It's a legit good movie. Superman 4 is not maybe a great movie, but I still love it. I love it because it's short. It's to the point. Lex Luthor makes a villain who's cool. He's not a copy. He's not a Kryptonian. Like, I love Zod, but it's just a Kryptonian villain. He's not from the comics. So again, I can be the first one saying that's not from the comics. Why didn't they put Brainiac or Parasite or something? I could say that, but he was pretty cool, and I thought he looked awesome. So there you go. There's my rant on all that.
Interesting. And we will debate that in your absence. But J-Man,
yes, please debate it. I'll try to come back if you're still on here.
Yeah. Hey, man, thanks for joining us. Anyone who is in viewing and is going to watch this later, please head to J-Man's channel. Give him a like and a subscribe. He is awesome. He breaks down comics and shows. And we do some retrospective look backs at some films and comics on Sundays. So, J-Man, pleasure. And if you want to hop back in, you're more than welcome.
Awesome. And nice meeting Bruno and Wilson. I appreciate you guys. It's all for fun. We're talking about movies. We're talking about movies and comic books.
Yeah.
No, last year at December, I had a heart attack. It's like, I'm fine. Everything's great. This is all movie fun stuff. We're not talking about real life. We're not talking about issues that matter. It's all comics. Who cares? Bruno, you're awesome. Wilson, you're awesome. Whether you love Eternals, I think it sucks. You're awesome for loving it. I'm awesome for hating it. I might be slightly more awesome for hating it. But if everything is 100% good, I take nothing personally. After I leave, you can say I'm an idiot, I'm a goof, I'm retarded, whatever you want to say to me. It will not offend me. I promise you. I don't care. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out, brother.
Nice meeting you.
Have a good one. Excellent. So before we get some reaction to Jay's take on Superman 3 and I guess /4, want to welcome myself and Comics coming home early because I'm sick. Sorry that you're under the weather, but you made the stream. That's awesome. Glad you were able to do that. And I remember that Spider-Man 3 had a lot of interference with behind the scenes stuff. And I do remember that too. And I think that Raimi actually wanted Vulture for that third movie, or maybe even a fourth movie. And that kind of played into why things didn't kind of play out the way that it could have to end off that trilogy. Because I think he did pretty well. And myself and Comics also says, I think that studio interference is also important. Many times a creator wants something to be accurate only for studios to deny, or vice versa, as stated here. We've all been on a set where, we've been thinking one thing, or we thought the direction was going to be one way, and it ends up going another way. I guess that's just that's the miracle of movie making, right? The fact that you can actually get one made is a miracle. And then if it's really good, it's a complete divine miracle.
I mean, unless you're James Cameron or Christopher Nolan, a lot of movies are community made, right? It's not one person on the team. So sometimes it brings different perspectives and pushes it in different ways, right? The magic or the luck is when it just hits the right notes for a larger audience rather than a specific one.
Right. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Hold on a second. Myself in comments says, "Ooh, Vulture, very interesting." Yes. Also, too, if you ever get a chance, take a look at what the original Green Goblin suit was supposed to look like. Way better. It's supposed to be animatronic. And Daniel Collins, I really enjoy the Spider-Man movies. Yeah, they were good. 3 has its issues story-wise, but you can't beat. Is it Hayden Church? I
think he's had an amazing Spider-Man though. The Garfield ones.
Oh no! Oh, I see. The Garfield movies. Those were good too. I was not a big fan of those films, but I loved Garfield as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and the costume in number 2. He's never looked better, personally.
And that one and his version gives you sort of that super genius
Mhm.
or a hint of super genius.
Yeah, he's
right?
the, he's
You're talking about.
definitely technically the smartest out of the three, Toby and Tom Holland. So any comments on 3 or 4 of Superman to say that J Man's absolutely
Oh,
awful?
I can't give him Quest for Peace. I just can't. I'm sorry. It just no. It was done wrong in so many ways. Actually, it was funny. I don't remember where I watched it, but I saw a recent breakdown of every Superman movie,
Mhm.
like ever, and four. It was just when you listen to it, it just reinforces how bad that one was relative to everything else.
Yeah, the producers were not liked. Let's put it that way. From even from 1 and 2, because I think Hackman quit.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, and Margaret Kidder, and that's why you barely see them in 3,
Right.
right?
Right.
And Robert Vaughn was brought in as the big bad.
Yeah. I mean, similar to I forgot what else we mentioned earlier, but like it's Christopher Reeve is the for me the only thing that carries it through, so that you're like, at least I'm getting a little bit more Reeve.
Mhm.
But the movie around him was terrible, including that fight in space that he does.
Oh, on the
Like,
moon?
yeah,
Yeah.
on the moon, the slow mo fight.
Oh, okay. I guess it is me, right? I'm back.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you might have froze, but no, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, connection was really bad. Sorry.
No problem, no problem. All right. So, Bruno, so we went for Bruno Wilson. What's your terrible movie that's actually pretty good? That a movie that everyone hates?
oh, so there's one that I always talk about because, like, I'm not like a huge Pauly Shore fan,
Mhm.
but Biodome when
Wow.
when it came out, I mean, maybe it's because I was a certain age. I mean, there was definitely the stupid comedy that I just laughed at because it was stupid as Pauly Shore. But I think it was underrated because when people look back at Biodome, they'll realize that it started talking about this idea of like sustainability, environmentalism, and other stuff within that thing at a time when it was just starting to like really become like mainstream talk about stuff, right? And it was all because the Biodome project only just happened at some point back then, right? So that's a movie I talk about a lot that I think gets underrated a lot because it's Pauly Shore more than anything, I guess. Um, but then the recent one is like if anyone gets a chance on YouTube, Studio Binder just did a breakdown about the movie Sorcerer, how this was a movie that came out at the time. It was really lambasted because it was terrible conditions film where tons of people were injured and sick. They shot it in Brazil, right? And the conditions were terrible. Um, but it was done by William. Shoot, what's his name? William.
What's the name?
Oh,
What's the name?
William Friedkin, who did like French
Oh,
Connection,
yeah, he's a great
and
director.
yeah, he's a great director, right?
Yeah.
But this was like
Is this the one that was like late 70s and stuff?
yeah, it came out in the same year as Star Wars,
Right. Okay.
so no one was gonna
I saw
watch.
some YouTube retrospectives on it,
Yeah,
and definitely a troubled shoot. But people say that it's actually an underrated classic.
yeah, and I've been watching clips of it since because I like even as a name, a sorcerer does not do like it any justice of what this movie's about, right? But if you watch the Studio Binder breakdown of this one, where there's commentaries from I think Tarantino, Christopher Nolan, a few others. It's just the things that are in the movie that show tension and just like a simple long sequence of a truck trying to get over a rickety bridge. Yeah, oh, it's on the poster, right?
Yeah, Roy
It's just
Scheider, man, from Jaws,
yeah,
and the French Connection.
that's right. So again, I after I mean this was just this past week that I was watching the breakdown around this, but this is definitely an underrated film for I think anyone who is aspiring or even current filmmaker that doesn't know of the film. I think it's something to check out.
Is this the one that's a remake from a French film?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
It's an adaptation of Greg Arnault's French novel.
I can't
And
remember
then it is. Oh, it's considered a remake of the 1953 film Wages of Fear.
Yes. Yeah. That's the movie that I was thinking of. Yeah. So they basically have to transport something in a truck or something that
Dynamite.
that is dangerous. Yeah. I have some recollection of the movie, the original one, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if that Mandalorian episode was based on this then.
It's possible because, like, you look back on a lot of TV, they just take movie scripts and rework it to fit within whatever the show is, right? So you can have your Great Escape episode or your French Connection episode or whatever. And so you see that a lot when you watch, especially stuff in the 70s. They take a lot of movie scripts and whatnot.
I mean, Die Hard 2 was a spec script.
Mm-hmm.
They reworked the script to become Die Hard 2. Yeah.
And I love Die Hard 2, by the way.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. So
and that might actually connect with that other topic as well, because maybe like the issue is whether like we actually make original movies these days, or because of brand recognition, we're just adapting them. We're adapting other stories into recognizable properties to get people out, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much all that's happening right now, is that you pick up some story that people somewhat know, and then you put like a brand on it. So, what we were talking about of, a director making a movie that about characters that they may not want to do, that's kind of what it is that, well, they wanted to make an original movie. Nobody's buying that. So, well, here's, a movie I want to make with the Eternals. I don't know, or, Spider-Man or whatever. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much what happens now. And the same is true for comics. You go to Kickstarter and you have a ton of, public IP, public domain IP stuff being made, because that's what people know. That's what people want. Right. It's even worse in Hollywood, for sure.
I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once was so amazing as an original.
Mm-hmm.
And the Russos were involved in it. I don't know how that wasn't essentially what Multiverse of Madness should have been.
Well,
like how did it not happen? I don't know.
Going back to that, I mean, we were talking about how Spider-Man 3 was an issue for Raimi. I think Multiverse of Madness had a lot of really great stuff going on. I think the issue was that Raimi was trying to make a movie and Marvel wanted to make a different movie. And the parts of Multiverse of Madness that I really liked were the creature horror parts that Raimi wanted to make. You could tell that he was trying to make a creature horror. And then Marvel wanted, Marvel stuff. And the two just didn't connect. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's almost like the third, like Multiverse of Madness almost felt more Ditko-esque with how weird and everything it was, right? Maybe not as Ditko visually, because the first one was pretty good when you get to the Dormammu section, but definitely that kind of weird kind of magic scape that Doctor Strange is known for in a lot of those early issues. Definitely Multiverse of Madness had that feel, but I also think it was really dark as well. And then making Wanda so evil is problematic. It's yeah. I'm not gonna argue for that film. I'm gonna do some comments and then we'll get to my film, which or one of the. I'll give you three that I really like that aren't regarded well necessarily. So Myself in Comics says, I don't think I've seen anything of James Cameron that I liked. Still looking. I did also change my stance on Nolan's films the second time I watched. More meh on it now. LOL. So James Cameron, I will say True Lies is really good. Second Terminator's quite good. Titanic, just because of him getting broken off the door at the end, where he floats into the water frozen. Enough of that movie. But yeah, Cameron's got a couple that are pretty good. And then for Christopher Nolan, I love Christopher Nolan. And one of the ones that I'm going to pick is one that people don't like as much as the others, but I think for me, it's the best in the franchise. But that's just me. But I'll tell you what it is in a sec. Some more comments. Daniel Collins says, I'm trying to find Superman 4 comic that was made. I've read it, fills in gaps from the movie. I also know that they did a Superman 79 comic as well too. And I think that also helped fill in some of that universe and any holes that might have been there from the films as well too. And I think that came out. J-Man would know more than I would, but I think those are from a couple of years ago, not too long ago. Just like they were doing Batman 66, which was Batman comics from the Burt Ward and Adam West series, for sure. So my movie. This one is a near and dear to my heart. It even has a terrible Rotten Tomatoes. It's so bad, but I'm gonna.
Chris Nolan?
I'm just gonna. No. This one is absolutely terrible. Where is it? There we go. Marked for Death, Steven Seagal. They even have worst movie ever. This movie is amazing. Just like how J-Man will stand on business with Superman 3, Marked for Death is amazing. It's like the cast got was it Keith David, or I always get his name mixed up with David Keith, but I think it's Keith David, who was also in The Thing and several other movies. It's terrible when it comes to. It's so bad, it's good. The villain's amazing. Screwface. The Jamaican accents are absolutely atrocious, but that also leads to how good that movie actually is. And it is, what is it? An hour and 33 minutes, entertaining from start to finish, and quotable lines. There's quotable lines all through that movie. And Seagal beating guys up with just like the worst technique ever. Can't go wrong with this movie. I love this movie. I'll stand on business on this one. Another one that I love is actually a Christopher Nolan film, and it's probably considered the worst out of the Batman trilogy. I love Dark Knight Rises. I think it's the best out of. Yeah, I could see your face there, Wilson. Go, what?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I like it better than Batman Begins. And I know Heath Ledger had a tour de force performance in it, but essentially that movie is like every other cop movie, like chasing a bad guy who's terrorizing the city kind of thing. And it's just the bad guy's wearing makeup, and you've got Bruce Wayne who needs like a lozenge when he's his Batman, right? but the third one, I like it. Like, yes, there are problems with the script, and they try to take No Man's Land and make that and the Breaking of the Bat and combine it into one story. But it gives you everything that you want in Batman set in that universe, which is you get your Robin. You have an immortal Ra's al Ghul, right? You have Talia. You have the League of Shadows. Like, you have all those things that intrinsically Batman. Gordon's great in it. And it's all within that universe that Nolan had set up, where this is probably as grounded a Batman as you're gonna get. There's no way you can have a Superman in that universe and go, yeah, it'll fit. Like, it'll have to be like the Dean Cain Superman or something, like a totally scaled down TV version. And even then it still would work. And those films are fantastic because Nolan, he knocked it out of the park on.
Yeah. Well, he's a true filmmaker, right? First, in looking at that.
Yeah, to the point where, like, from Memento on, you're questioning what the hell you're watching. Like, Memento is unbelievable. And there was something I saw where basically, how you have like this linear timeline, almost like entropy for a film, right? He basically said it's like a horseshoe, right? So the ends in the middle of the horseshoe and then everything folds in on each other, and then he split it into thirds, and he goes, this is the start here, and then we go here into a flashback, and then here, and then here, and then here, and we end up at the end. And I'm like, genius. Absolute genius. Yeah.
To this day, best movie is Memento, in my opinion, and I will die on this hill.
That's a safe hill. Memento is an absolute classic.
Yeah. I actually fight a lot for Tenet.
Tenet's great, man.
A lot of people didn't like it because it's such a hard concept.
It's
but like,
it's a hit or miss for a lot of people. I think Tenet's great.
Once you also start to like think about Robert Pattinson's character and what he means more largely, and not just what you saw in the movie, but imagine like he was actually further in the future, coming back and doing a lot of this stuff.
He's the Kyle Reese of this movie, man.
Yeah,
exactly. In a way, he's like he's Kyle Reese and John Connor all rolled into one.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys are spoiling that movie for me. I still haven't watched it.
You haven't watched it?
I haven't watched Tenet yet. No,
doesn't matter because it's going to be so confusing. You're going to forget everything that we've said.
Okay, fair enough.
So famously, a long time ago, do you know the movie Primer, Bruno?
I've watched that. That movie is, I don't know what to think about it. It's a mess to follow.
Yeah, it is. But so it's funny because like so famously at the time the filmmaker talked about how he had to create basically like a diagram to show how this all worked, right? And how the timing worked and all that kind of stuff. And when you look at it now, for when it was made, it's relatively simple, right? They made one of those for Tenet, and it's like if you took that chart and then you made it 3D, like layered on top of each itself. It's just like, wow, and that's what I had to understand for all the movements forward and backwards and how it works. It's just like it was ridiculous. And I never fully sensed all of it in that movie because you're mainly watching your main character and trying to understand the concept, and so it's kind of an adventure piece. But once you start thinking about all the times, not just him, but other characters would have had to go forward and backwards in time, it was just like maddening to understand it.
I need to watch that. I do like a good, brain tease movie. So it's really that I never got to watch it, but it's probably my thing.
Yeah,
nice.
And then what was I going to say for Marked for Death, Steve? I'll definitely give you that because I think that was within the whole phase of like these Steven Seagal movies. Some of them where he's playing an indigenous person,
and also with like terrible titles, like just the titles of those movies. And don't get me wrong, he's got some great ones. Like Under Siege is really, really good. What was the first one he did? I can't remember. The one before Out for Justice, Above the Law. Is that it?
Right.
There's Above the Law is great. Like that. Yeah. That you can put with like To Live and Die in LA. That kind of film, and that's another film to me is underrated. To Live and Die with William Peterson is a great kind of hard-boiled 80s crime thriller. And then obviously getting back to Seagal, you've got Under Siege with Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey chewing scenery as he normally does. Like those are great films, but this film is almost a parody of a parody. It's so comical, but so enjoyable. Right. It's a guilty pleasure.
And when you contrast that to his more recent films over the last decade, where like I mean, as a group of university buddies, we used to try to anytime a Steven Seagal movie come out, we would watch it, so like we could enjoy it as much as possible. Right. But literally watching like the fact that I don't know if it's in his contract to be where he is in what scenes or whatever, but like watching one movie where an entire like scene plays out, and then right at the end of the scene, he's on the roof and he's watching it all, and it like made no sense why he was there, and they never explain what what information he takes in. It's just that we see him; he's on the roof and he was watching it, and then it goes on. or in the more recent one, as famously he just sits on the toilet and he fights everybody.
He's sitting. He fights sitting down, and I don't know if it's the same one. The one with I implore everyone, go find the one with him and Mike Tyson in it.
Oh yeah,
It's War of the Worlds bad.
they're not in the same room.
They didn't shoot any of their scenes together, but they actually fight.
Yeah.
And I don't think Steven Seagal gets up for that one either. I don't think he stands in that movie.
Right. He's largely immobile, but I think he's standing up or something. He he's doing something. I remember, but like
all I have to say is VFX and editing. They were working overtime in that film, big time.
Yeah.
Big.
Oh boy.
Before we hit Bruno's comic, I want to also talk about some underrated films. Are there any underrated films that you think, oh, you know what, this movie's actually pretty good, or maybe a forgotten gem from a time where you're like, this movie's actually really, really good, and it's well regarded, but it's kind of like forgotten. It's kind of like a great meal you might have had on a trip, and you haven't gone back to it in a long time. I'll start with my two, and that might then kickstart you guys on this one. So this first one, another time travel one. Again, with Gordon Joseph Levitt and Bruce Willis, it's Looper. Looper is a fantastic time travel story. And if you check the cast out, it's got Gordon Joseph Levitt, Bruce Willis, Emily Blunt, Paul Dano, who he's fantastic. Like, he's great in everything that he does. Piper Parabo's in it. See if there's anyone else. Jeff Daniels is in it. Garrett Dillahunt, anyone who watched Fear the Walking Dead back in the day. And it's so, so good. Well done. Bruce Willis is he's great in it too. And you'll notice, spoiler already, that Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis play the same person. It's just one's the younger version and one's the older version. Great film. And then the other film for me that's underrated is one from, I think it's the mid 80s, and it's Blue Thunder. And this is about a militarized helicopter that the Los Angeles police force in the mid 80s or early 80s bring onto their unit, and Roddy McDowell's in it, Roy Scheider's in it, Daniel Stern is in it as well too, and it's really, really good. It's kind of like a political thriller. It's a little bit of a crime drama, and then this movie also spawned a TV show which was terrible, but also allowed for Airwolf to hit the airwaves. And Airwolf is one of like the all-time 80s shows, great theme song. It was basically Knight Rider in the air, essentially. But Blue Thunder, if you ever get a chance to watch it, underrated. And I think the director was John Badham. And it's got a lot of heart, and Roy Scheider carries it. And Roddy McDowell, Malcolm McDowell is one. He's a villain that you want to see get his comeuppance at the end. Like, just smarmy, smug. It's really, really good.
Taking notes.
Yeah. You know what? I might actually end up watching either Blue Thunder or Looper later tonight or tomorrow. Yeah. Trip down memory lane. While you guys are looking at that, I'll just go back to my stuff in comics. I forgot. I meant Nolan's Batman film specifically. I love his Tenet movie. Yeah, that's pretty good. The surprise from the panel, LOL. It probably was Marked for Death. I'm sure you mean that one, right? Myself in comics. And my sister's fiance, gonna be married in a couple of weeks, also loves it. So there's another person that loves Marked for Death.
Nice.
The movie even said, "Don't think about it too much." Lots of people did anyway. That's probably Tenet, because I know that if you try to delve into what's actually happening in Tenet, you could blow up some brain cells. There's a you just kind of got to go with it, and a great cast too. That cast is fantastic.
Watch it once for enjoyment, and then the second time, bring a notebook, and then.
And the board on the wall with all the.
Yeah, for sure. What is it, like the FBI wall?
Yeah.
So Bruno, what's yours? Underrated films.
Oof. I don't know. I think that underrated. I don't know if I would consider it underrated, but it's like 15 years old. There's a bug around here.
Yeah, no.
District 9.
Oh, District 9's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
District 9 is it's so good.
I wouldn't say that it's underrated. I think people do love it, but it's almost forgotten. It's like, for me, it's a modern masterpiece.
Mhm.
That it's the best that sci-fi can be. It's like, it's awesome sci-fi, good looking, well made, practical effects in a lot of it.
Mhm.
And then there's an actual, I don't want to say a message, but there's a point to the film.
It's very allegorical.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And yeah, I would say, yeah, District 9 is probably my pick. It's probably not underrated, but I like it so much that I would consider it underrated. Yes.
Yeah, just for the honest, let them remember this flick. This was a beauty of a film, man.
Yeah.
There's a movie where I wished there was the sequel. I would have wanted to.
I don't know if I want to, because I mean, the ending was so perfect that I'm like, anything they do is going to ruin it.
Right.
But at the same time, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I would like to have a sequel. But no, don't do a sequel. Don't ruin it. So yeah, I don't know where I am. The only thing I would say is that Viku's character, the main character, I feel like he goes through a transformation that I compare to Michael Corleone in The Godfather.
Right.
It's like very different movies, but it's like this transformation of, he's one person at the beginning of the movie, he's a completely different person at the end of the movie. In his case, quite literally, in a way.
It's like The Fly a little bit.
Yeah, but it feels very natural. It's not drastic. It feels, you see like the changes slowly kind of building up and, being this entire new person by the end. So yeah, I quite like that about the movie. So yeah, I'll stop talking about it. I could talk about this movie all day.
Well, it helps spark like sort of a renaissance period, I think, for these South African films, along with Neil Blomkamp,
yeah,
something like that.
His studio or whatever, right? Like, like he did a lot. He parlayed that movie to a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I think because Sharlto Copley did 18 before that, if I'm not mistaken. So
no, I think it was after.
It was after. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it introduced us to him as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good. It's good. Wilson, what's your underrated one?
So first, just because we talked about Tenet, Primer, Looper, and was that all the time traveling ones? So there's one that I watched. I don't know if it's still on Netflix now, but it's called Arq, ARQ. It's done by a Canadian filmmaker. It's a relatively indie movie, but it is done well. Like, I mean, they basically were able to do the same kind of time traveling ish movie. It's sort of a little bit like a Run Lola Run type of movie, all set within a house, but it's done very well, I thought.
Oh my gosh, Robbie, what's his name? Robbie
Hamel.
Yeah, Robbie Hamel, who is brother to Steven, who was Green Lantern. No, sorry, Green Arrow in the films.
That's right. And Robbie's been around for a lot of things. He's like in Upload.
Yes, Upload is fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'll have to give this one a watch.
Yeah. So I highly suggest that one. I mean, the ratings actually, I was just looking. It's like it's not very good. The ratings on here are very good, but like I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. I thought it was well done, especially from a almost like Run Lola Run or time a bit of a time traveling perspective.
Run Lola Run is great.
Yeah. And then for totally underrated movies, I think for me, and I don't know if this kind of stuff dates me too in some way, but like in The Name of the Rose, that's Sean Connery and Christian Slater
That's
in
right.
a monastery.
That's not the one with because I'm thinking Lady Hawk. I was thinking Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, yeah, Lady Hawk is I think of that wrong too of that time period. But like I don't know, like I remember watching In the Name of the Rose originally as a kid, but rewatched it as I when I was older, and I just thought from filmmaking's perspective, such a simple story of everything localized within this monastery, so compelling. The mystery, there's scariness to it, a lot of stuff. So.
Yeah, there it is. Look at Christian Slater, man.
Yeah. I can't remember how early on it is for him in that one.
Yeah, he must have been really young on that one.
86. So, yeah, he would have been probably a teenager.
86, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a few. Oh, it's all. No, he had a couple movies. He mainly did like TV spot stuff before that. Like In the Name of Rose, I think is one of his first major features.
What did he do in television? Was he like on
on The Legend of Billy King, All My
Legend?
Children?
Oh, so he's doing soaps. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this is probably before he started channeling his young Jack Nicholson kind of vibe.
This was him just before Heathers.
Oh, Heathers, that's right. Mad dating ourselves with that movie reference for sure.
So yeah, that's one I think is underrated. I don't think. I was just looking here too. The rating's not super high on In the Name of the Rose, but 7.7 on IMDb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of crazy too, because like you think of like what we were talking about in terms of like bad films and whatnot. But then there's a ton of films that ended up like becoming cult favorites, but bombed. Like you wouldn't think that they bombed to start, right? And we're just gonna roll through this list.
Shop of Horrors in there,
like from IndieWire, right?
I mean, you were just on IMDb. The number one on IMDb bombed, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So like, check this out. So some great films in here that I'm like, really? Citizen Kane was a bomb.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right. It's a Wonderful Life was a bomb.
Great movie.
Blowout. I've never seen it, but apparently it's a very good movie. Brian De Palma. The King of Comedy, which basically was remade as a Joker film a couple of years ago, right? And that was like a star turn as well too. The Thing, of all things, was a bomb,
and it was a remake.
And it was a remake, exactly, right? Dazed and Confused was a bomb.
Oh yeah, that definitely has a following.
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, that was a bomb. That's right. That's right.
Bomb. It's crazy when you.
But so successful on VHS.
Absolutely, and I'm wondering if the new model where everything's streaming, and you don't have that kind of heading to a blockbuster or whatnot, is denying some of these films that are kind of being made and then kind of going into the ether forever because there's so much content. Like it's hard to find it if it's out against like an incredible film, like one of my favorite James Bond came out the same week as Titanic, and to me it's Pierce Brosnan's. Again, this is another unpopular one. A lot of people like GoldenEye, but I like Tomorrow Never Dies. And if you look at that movie now, where you have a media mogul shaping the world that we live in, it's pretty prescient, right? And Michelle Yeoh's in it, kick-ass Bond girl. It just has everything. But because of the timing that it came out, it doesn't get the love, and it didn't have a video game behind it as well, too, right? But when you come out, the amount of faith the studio has in you, and if you don't have like that crazy kind of like opening weekend box office, you kind of get lost. And it's weird because you're looking at some of the stats where people are like, well, the box office for 2025 is not going to hit 4 billion. And you think about that number, 4 billion is a pretty good number, but it's disappointing. Right. And I know recovering from COVID and everything else is a reality, but the industry's changed. And some of the stuff that could save a movie. And I remember Matt Damon saying that, without having DVD sales, that's really changed how films make money. So if you're not doing tent poles, and this is why you're getting Avengers 25 and, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 10, you're going for brands and IPs that are easily recognizable. And then you got that audience built in without having to like Weapons is a great movie, but Weapons is a horror movie, original IP. I don't think it's attached to a novel or anything like that, but it's very rare that you get something like that becomes a hit. Right.
Because it's attached to a brand. Right.
But then what knocked it out of the number one spot? K-pop Demon Hunters.
Right.
Another original IP, which has cross appeal because of K-pop and the fact that it's animated and your audience isn't narrowed because of the content and the subject matter. Right. You can watch it as a family film. I'm going to go back to some of these bombs, and then we'll get to some comics. So Bottle Rocket, which I'm not familiar with. The Big Lebowski was a bomb. Right? Office Space was a bomb. And basically spawned 2 amazing TV series. Iron Giant was a bomb. Fight Club was a bomb. And when you think about it, a ton of these are like cult classics. Right?
For some of those, I feel like it might not have been a box office bomb, but only considered it because of what it did within its first week run or whatever else. But its longevity in the theaters, which fewer movies get these days, that the word of mouth eventually gets. Like Fight Club definitely was one of those. I think it never super topped any of the box office earnings, but it had steady earnings for weeks and weeks, and you could tell it's because people kept spreading the word about Fight Club, even though they're not supposed to talk about Fight Club. We're still doing it. I think that again, it's just you're right. It's the timing of it sometimes, right? Whether the audience is ready to see it at that time, whether the marketing is around it, right? Steve, you and I have had that conversation recently about does the project have enough marketing dollars behind its thing to get the distribution? I know what J-Man was saying about Disney, but the magic of Disney isn't really the magic of fantasy or magic. It's their webs are all across the world, right? And they have the distribution channels to get something out everywhere.
Yes.
Right? So
yeah, they can convince any theater to show any of their movies because otherwise they don't get the new Marvel movie. It's like that sort of under the rug blackmail that happens between studios and cinemas. It's true, right? They buy packages of 4 or 5 films, right? So yeah, you want Avengers 10? Well, here's this other movie you don't want.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, for sure. It's like when you bought, like back in the day, I'm showing my age again. They used to get comics in something called a 3-pack, and so the comic in the like that you could see in the package in the plastic bag might have been like something that you wanted, a Batman or Justice League or something, and then you wouldn't know what was in the middle. And the one you got in the middle was absolutely just the last thing you wanted. You're like, oh, really? What am I gonna do with this? Right. But yeah, it's kind of the way that everything's packaged and sold nowadays that gets you into the kind of the situation that we're in. And speaking of comics, Bruno, tell us about Crimson Bay.
Ooh, what to tell you about Crimson Bay? So we've been talking a lot about like nostalgic movies, and a lot about 80s, 90s, and we talked about Steven Seagal. So martial arts movies and all of that stuff, and that's kind of what Crimson Bay is. It's like these call it like love letter to 80s and 90s, although it's more about on the video game side, those arcade beat 'em ups or fighting games like Street Fighter, Streets of Rage, King of Fighters, Final Fight, that sort of stuff. And also animes around that time, so Sensei, Fist of the North Star, that sort of thing, maybe a little bit of Dragon Ball. So that's kind of the influences of Crimson Bay. So it's really about it's a revenge story about two brothers who go to the city of Crimson Bay, who is controlled by a mayor who is responsible for the death of their father. And it's a traditional revenge story from the surface, although as you find out soon, it's not your typical revenge story. There's a lot of twists and turns. So even though it's like an action fighting comic, there's a lot of crime thriller elements. I'm terrible at pitching.
Nah, you're doing a good job. Keep going.
But yeah, it's essentially that. It's a series. This is the number one. But yeah, just this weekend I was planning, the long game, and there's quite a lot coming after this. Where artist is neck deep into issue 2, so it's going to be like a quick turnaround. So yeah, kickstarting issue 1 right now. I don't know if you have like any. Can I share screen or?
I'm gonna share your Kickstarter.
Oh yes, please. I think it's probably easier, to just talk through it than just. So yeah, you get amazing art from Samuel Donato, which is the artist. The colors are incredibly vibrant from Geo. Yeah, that's.
And you're a project that we love, which is fantastic.
Yeah, we got the badge on the morning we launched, so it was like great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, if you want to scroll down to show some of the art, or there are some pages, but yeah, it's essentially what I described. It's like based on, well, not based, but influenced by a lot of the nostalgic stuff that you will love if you are a child of the 80s and 90s. And yeah, there's a lot of action, but there's also a lot of let's say twists and turns. And I'm told that the cliffhanger at the end of issue 1 is nasty.
Nice. Yeah, this
Not
is
my words.
This is really vibrant. The colors are great. The art's great.
Yeah, those guys are amazing. Samuel and Gio, they did a fantastic job, and it just really works for this kind of story.
Nice.
So yeah, check it out, back it.
Yeah, if it looks like if you like video games, if video games are up your alley, like specifically the fighting games, and then you like things like Dragon Ball, Street Fighter, it looks like it's got a lot of those kind of elements to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so look at that kinetic burst, even yelling out the punch, Sweet.
Yeah, it gets better. But yeah, but that's kind of what it is. And yeah.
Double Dragon.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of the references, most of them 80s and 90s, but there's a few, more recent. You have like some, Shang-Chi, Cobra Kai, The Raid.
It's a great movie, by the way.
I'm currently rewatching Mortal Kombat Conquest, that show from the
Mm.
90s, because no, seriously, it's one of those that it's considered bad but I consider it good.
So that fits right in with today's topic.
It fits right into the topic. Yeah. So yeah, have a look at the Kickstarter, and yeah, if it's your thing, back it.
Yeah, everyone. I'm going to actually put the link
Thank you.
for the Kickstarter into the chats.
Oh, do me a favor. Can you scroll, because this is like a comics, nerds thing. Go down, because everybody obviously knows Will Eisner, and this cover is an homage to a Spirit cover from Will Eisner.
Look at that, with the name in the picture. There you go.
Yeah.
Crimson Bay. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's well
Yeah.
done. Who did this cover?
Gabriel Caetano Duchange, and
Nice.
it was colored by Mateus. Yeah, these guys, I worked with them before in a couple of comics, and they are brilliant. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you see the yeah.
That's pretty impressive. And so let's meet the team. So there's you, writer designer, writing screenplays and directing low budget short films for 11 years.
Well,
Excellent.
not so much anymore.
It's all good. You did it, so it's part of it.
Yeah.
Samuel Donato, artist, made cover and logo. Does the art, and then Giovanni Gio Tenko is the colorist. And the letter gets some love. That's great.
Yeah, no, Matthias is amazing. I worked with him before as well. He's fantastic. His work is super professional. Yeah.
Sweet.
Actually, connecting to a question that was mentioned earlier about like comic books being the storyboards. Like Bruno, for you, whether it's your approach to short films or the comic, do you imagine it visually like more of a storyboard first, or do you see it more visually like it's a movie playing in your head and then translating it?
I think the fact that I started making films kind of plays a big role. So I think it very much plays as a movie in my head, and then it's like, how can I actually translate this into static images?
Right.
And then it's having artists that can do that, and I'm really lucky to work with Samuel because he kind of gets me in a weird way. Yeah, it's like there was like this thing on issue 2 where I thought, oh, this scene is a great place to introduce this new character, but I didn't write it in the script because I didn't think about it at the time, and it just draws a guy that looks exactly like the image I had of this new character. I'm like, can you read my mind? Because it was really, I didn't tell him. It was just like a coincidence. It was great. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's great, because like anything that's collaborative, the people element, the teamwork element, sometimes you kind of take that for granted. And when you can kind of speak the same language, the same creative language, and they can kind of fill in like some of the beats of what you want to say. It's like being a part of like in a band, right? Where like the guitarist layers over the vocals or the drums or the bass or whatever. It all kind of goes together. And if you're out of sync, then it just doesn't have the same impact.
Yeah, and with these guys especially, I mean, I am usually a little bit detailed on the script, but Samuel, for example, does change quite a lot from what I write in the script. But his changes it respects the intention and it makes it better, which is like, it's the best kind of collaboration. It's like you have this very clear image in your head and someone can elevate that and sometimes just change it, but it's still communicating the same idea, and it's just it's great. It's the second time that I'm working with them. I worked with them on one sci-fi project before, and so if you also make comics and you want to hire great people, hire them, because they are amazing. Just let them finish this book. Issue 2 first, please.
So if we take a look at the rewards, we've got Crimson Bay #1 digital, and these are in pounds because you're in the UK.
Yeah.
And do you ship worldwide or no?
I do ship worldwide, and because we are in the UK, we have Royal Mail. The international shipping is not too bad. That being said, it's still about like £7 for the US, or $7, or I can't remember.
It's not bad,
which is still quite a bit for a comic that's less than that. What I do have is like something that I call like the ISCO combos. If you scroll down, which is like, I calculated that is the cheapest way to ship books internationally is three books. It's the cheapest you get. So basically I just created some combos with Crimson Bay and previous books. So Bereavement is the previous book that I've done with Samuel and Gio, so it made sense to add it. And Prey was made by Gabriel, who did that cover that was an homage to Will Eisner. So it made sense to kind of just put these 3 books together. So I have like 5 different combos. So if people like physical books and they want to save on shipping, getting one of those is probably the cheapest way. But then there's digital as well.
That makes total sense. And you've got a digital 6-pack, which has books from your own from your website.
It's all my books that I've done so far. That 6-pack will soon be more pack.
That's great. So I just want to take a look at the campaign to see where you are in terms of your funding. So you've got 15 days to go. We've got 43 backers, and you pledged $807, and you're actually at $1,132. That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think we hit the goal like in 4 days or something, which, probably the project we love had something to do with it. I mean, could definitely do better. The book cost a lot more than that to make. The economics of making indie comics are not good, but I mean, it's funded. That's the minimum I could ask. Anything after that is a win, and we do have like some stretch goals for every backer that comes after that. Keeps adding to the stretch goals, and
so let me see if I can find the stretch goals.
Should be right close to the bottom. You probably need to go to campaign. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
And now you should have like stretch goals that if you click add-ons and then go up a little bit, you should be there. There you go.
So we'll see what's unlocked. So stretch goals. So the first stretch goal is already unlocked. And everyone who backed Crimson Bay #1 will get a smartphone wallpaper for free. That's great. Let's unlock the wonderful Fog Within #1 by Sean Wood. We have new comics added to the indie bundle, the making of project package, and D&D subclasses thematic to the story and the world of Crimson Bay. We also have much more planned, so let's hit these first. So unlocked. So we have smartphone wallpaper for the £800. Next is the 5th comic added to the Indie Comics combo, which is £1,000, which you hit. The next is
not yet. No, we are on.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at
pounds. It's in pounds.
Looking at American dollars. So
yeah.
So you're on your way there, and then we have the making of the script and different art stages, which is great. That behind the scenes stuff is always good. And then £1,200 gives you a 6th comic added to Indie Comics combo. And then we have 1,300, which is the D&D monk subclass. So what is that for those who might not be sure what the D&D monk subclass is?
I mean, for those who, for those who play D&D, so or for those who don't play D&D, I guess it's basically just a TTRPG. So basically a tabletop game that you create your character. You have like different classes, and monk is one of the classes. And I just created like a subclass that basically is a monk that can use kinetic energy as part of the attacks. And so it basically just plays around with the world of Crimson Bay. It has like 3 variants, like an attacking, a defensive, and a more sorry,
like a more magic utility type.
It gives like some more like this special attacks, kind of like like Aiden here has, doing like this this kinetic burst thing. So it basically just has some abilities that are more on the magic side, but not really magic. So
And in line with 2024.
It's these are in line in 2024. I've done it before, and it was still with 5e, but this time I went like, no, let's do 2024. Yeah.
All right. So anyone who is watching the stream or will be watching this later, let's support Bruno's campaign. Already funded, so you're going to get stuff. Now we're in the stretch goals section of the campaign. We got a little over 2 weeks, to go with 15 days. We got 43 backers. Let's get those backers up over 43 and help bring this to life with not just what we've got so far, but with a lot of those amazing stretch goals that we have in this campaign. Now, Bruno, I got to ask you, what was it that drew you to comics?
Being a failed filmmaker. No. No, but it definitely was. So I tried to make film for too long, mostly writing. Really, I started making films because it was easier than just wait for someone to do it. Oh, thank you so much for sharing the link. That helps.
Myself and comics. Thank you for sharing the link. That's fantastic.
So I mean, making films was always difficult with the budgets. You guys know what I mean. If you want to make a short film, or the budget that you can afford is the budget of a short film, but then nobody buys a short film, you can't make any money. You use a short film basically to find funding for a feature film. So it's like this game that has a lot of gatekeepers. And I used to like comics as a kid quite a lot. I kind of stopped reading comics for several years in the early 2000s. I mostly read Marvel, and I was not liking all the events and all that stuff. So I kind of just stopped reading around that time. And a few years before I started making comics, I started reading comics again, but I started reading more indie comics, so Image, that sort of stuff. And it was finding out, you can tell interesting stories in comics, and I can tell stories that I can't tell in film. For example, my first comic, Prey, I wrote it originally as a short film, but imagine shooting in the woods at night with simulating a full moon and having werewolves and lots of blood. That would have been expensive. And I was able to make it as a comic, for the same price as a short film, and have something to show, right? So that was kind of it. Was starting to realize that I can tell the same stories in comics. Although the thing that really got me into writing, specifically comics, was going to a Comic-Con to workshop, and the guy was there, Neil. He does the Twisted Comics, and now he does the official Black Mirror comics.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so I did like this workshop with him, and he kind of at the end he just said, hey, just send me a comic 4 pages long, and I'll read it, I'll give feedback. And I did that. So the first time that I wrote that I actually wrote a comic was because of that, and he liked it. I actually wrote a short story for one of his anthologies that's coming out at the end of the year. And yeah, after that, I just started making comics. So it really was the convergence of, falling back in love with comics, late in life, to realizing that, I was getting nowhere with film and I could tell the stories more easily as comics and no gatekeepers. I could do whatever I wanted with, going to this convention and meeting Neil, and all of these things kind of came together and just, it happened.
Nice. We got a comment here. RRTNZ, a J-Man stream, but where's J-Man himself? J-Man had to run, but he was spitting fire earlier on, and he and Bruno got into it a little bit in terms of their love and I guess not so much love for Eternals. So if you're gonna be watching this later on, it's good to see them go back and forth on it, because both of them had some great points, and we all know, yeah. And one of them has their hand sticking out of the Pacific Ocean at the end of the conversation. But it's good because like that's the whole thing about this whole thing. It's all in fun, and it's kind of like, Bruno, I'm sure there are comic books that you loved growing up, cartoons that you would have watched, and obviously movies, and not everybody that you were buddies with liked them, right? And you could go back and forth and battling over, Superman's better than Batman, and Captain America's better than Iron Man, or Wonder Woman's better than Captain Marvel, or whatever. But the beauty of all of these things is that we all have different sensibilities, and not everything's made for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and that's why I like I'll reference my cousins growing up. I had one cousin who loved Avengers and Thor, and then his brother loved Iron Man, right? And his brother who liked the Avengers also liked Teen Titans, and I was a Spider-Man and Hulk guy, but I got to read their books, right? And so I wouldn't have necessarily bought those books if I didn't have the opportunity to read them. And then I got into them through them, but I was still a core Spider-Man person. And so it's like you can like original Star Trek, or you could like Lower Decks, because it's generational and it speaks to you in different ways. And as long as it's good, that's where and good is subjective. But as long as it's good and entertaining to you, then have at it.
Right.
Even the stuff that's terrible.
Which is the whole point of this, right? Movies that people hate, right?
Like Marked for Death, right? Or even like, we didn't even go through some of the lists, but like Children of Men was a bomb. Judge Dredd 3D, the one with Carl Urban, bombed.
Right.
But if you ask anybody who likes the genre stuff that we're talking about, that Comics Asylum and J-Man's channel or Mega J Retro, that they watch, they love Dredd. Like that movie is one of the best, hands down, comic book movies, period. Faithful to the source material, well made. It's basically Judge Dredd and The Raid combined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will disagree with one thing you said. You said that not everything is for everyone. I will say Crimson Bay is for everyone.
There you go. Crimson Bay is for everyone. You heard it, everybody. You heard it. Absolutely. And actually, speaking of J-Man, please head out to his channel. I'm just going to put it in the chat. Make sure you give him a like and a subscribe on YouTube. He's got some great content here, there, and we also collaborate on some streams as well too with our buddy Sean, Decepticon77. So we have another comment here from RR. Agree with J-Man. Constantine as a movie is pretty good. As an adaptation, it's terrible. I'll still watch it from time to time. It does have one of the best on-screen versions of Lucifer. Yeah, definitely. Like, I haven't seen it because I was not a Lucifer fan. But from all accounts, I've heard that it's a good flick. And so it's one of those things like when you're not, I guess, historically invested in a particular character, you can let things slide. And I think that's kind of where the filmmakers come in, because very few of them are like no, it's got to be done this way because ... And I think that might be like when you look at what was it, Last Jedi? Is that the one where, spoiler alert, Luke becomes he fights by long distance?
Huh?
You're kind of like, did we not watch the previous movies? Like, I know people change, but like, how is that guy being tempted by that after what he went through and saved the universe from? It doesn't make any sense. But if you're coming in and you don't have that as your basis and you're trying to tell a different kind of story, have at it. Maybe Luke shouldn't have been in that, the character to do that, and it works fine. But that's where it's a business. Film's a business. And Wilson, we've been on set and decisions get made and you're like, yeah. But it's the business, right? It's not necessarily something that you agree with creatively, but you go along with it.
I mean, when you do a 48-hour film, which is a film that you make over a weekend for, contest wise or whatever, and you're getting together with people and talk about ideas before, just so everyone's sort of on a similar page, and then you go into writing it at the beginning, you come up with something, and then you start shooting it, and then suddenly there's like a revolt. Like, and when you're doing that, when there's no money involved, basically, and everyone's volunteering their time, if it happens at that level, magnify it and bring money in. Again, it's a miracle. Sometimes some of these films get made, right? It's the work and development to not only get the right story, but to get the right team together to sort of match that story. And we get it sometimes in some of these beautiful films, right? But other times, it's some of them are just succeed because of the force of one personality, right? But that's, I think, a rare occurrence, right? I mean, just on a quick side note, I was just hearing about like Chris McCary, the one who's doing the
he was doing the Mission Impossible movies with Tom Cruise,
and he was talking about they start with talk about what stunt do we want to do in the movie, and then they write around the stunt.
It's interesting because Emily Blunt said, was it Emily Blunt? No, it was Ferguson, who was saying, they don't come in with like a script necessarily. They come in with like a series of set pieces, and then they down the set pieces.
Yeah, there's an interview with Chris McQuarrie where he's talking about how the script comes to be, and it's like they are rewriting the script and writing the script as they shoot. So they go to, I don't know, where did they shoot? I don't know. They go to Malaysia to shoot something like in a big building, and in the trip is just writing the script, and they are in this location, so they need to use this location, so they are rewriting things so that it works in that location. It's like crazy that this happens at this level with these budgets.
And because then you could see like how, like, I guess when you're someone like Tom Cruise and you have that kind of a track record, you can do that, but you can see how budgets can spiral out of control, right? And then you throw in COVID that they had to deal with making these last two, and you can see why that last film's kind of the way that it was, right? If they were going into it basically like Jenga, like they're doing Jenga in reverse, so you have this framework and then you're trying to fit things in the middle to make the thing whole, you can see why it was a bit disjointed. That should have been, I think we mentioned this before in a previous stream, it should have been 3 films. Got a great comment here again. Peter Jackson had to make changes to Lord of the Rings to adapt it, but he explicitly tried to keep the spirit of Tolkien's story and not inject his own views. And that equals the most beloved trilogy of all time. And I think that's the perfect marriage when you've got filmmakers, producers, studios, all on the same page, maybe fighting for different things, but essentially moving in the same direction. Because I think you do need some of that creative tension at times, because that's when you're just not like saying yes to ideas all the time, because some ideas are terrible, right? Or some ideas are great, but not for this project. And so when you have everyone who is not just looking at like, okay, what's our first weekend box office going to be?
Right.
Or you got actors that are just worried about saying their lines and getting out, but actually care about the project, and then vice versa, the production cares about them. Then that's when you get things like Lord of the Rings, right? And later on, like Star Trek, The Next Generation, in subsequent seasons, where like it might have started rocky, but then you get the right crew and the right production team, and of course the cast, which were like bulletproof, and they know their characters, and then you just move together and make something that stands the test of time. And like Bruno said, is for everybody.
And also, like, connecting to what RTNZ is saying, it's like the J.E. Man talked about it earlier about, like, it's about the spirit of the movie, right? The spirit of the story. When I did my master's in film, like, one of the things that we were talking about was trying to connect with that, not just as a log line or a theme, but what is the overall production trying to say or do as well, right? And it's about, like, when you talk about all these different people where there's these tensions, the tensions are because there's different areas that's important to get this movie made and where it goes, but everyone ideally is connected to the spirit of what this movie is, so that there's no actual disagreements on what they're making, right? And I think, like Steve, you and I, some of our toughest experiences that we've had is because we've been in these places where there's such a disconnect between, whether it's the business side and the creative side, or even just within the set itself, of people having different ideas of what the movie's supposed to be. And I think that's the hardest struggle, that if you're rushing to get something out there, right? Or again, one person's just pushing it through without having figured out really getting people in the room together and really have it talked out, that's where the spirit gets lost in this stuff, right?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm going to go back to a couple of comments before we finish up, because I know Bruno is on UK time. Myself in comics, she had mentioned that her fiance loves it too, and it was one of the movies that I mentioned. It was not marked for death. It was definitely not marked for death. It was the third Batman. So it was The Dark Knight Rises, not marked for death. So sorry, Mr. Segal, you lost you lost a big fan there. And then myself in comics also mentioned, I remember reading the manga of the Tomorrow Never Dies movie, which I have never read, so I'm gonna have to track that down. What a difference! I like them both despite being different, and like it's an adaptation, and sometimes you can tell different things in the adaptation, whether it's a different medium like manga or a novel. Oh, guess who's back?
I'm
Guess
back.
who's back?
Right on time.
You mentioned so I was just watching for dinner. We watched Star Trek. We just watched the Unification Part 2, which is the one with Spock and all that.
Right.
So we've watched Next Gen like this is our fourth time over. Original series I've seen like probably 4 or 5 times over. Deep Space Nine I think I've seen like 7 times over. Voyager probably 6 or 7. Enterprise maybe 3. That's probably my least watched one. And then everything after that is fake Star Trek, so I don't watch any of that. I don't watch any of the fake Star Trek died in 2009, and the rest of it's all fake Star Trek.
So are you anti J.J. Abrams?
Oh, I'm anti J.J. Abrams. You cannot find someone more anti J.J. Abrams than me. I despise everything. Mission Impossible. Saw Part 3 in the theater. I was like, wow, this one's really not that good. I was like, well, I don't know what happened. Okay, and then I saw Part 4. I was like, oh, this is really good. I was like, well, this is And then we rewatched them. So we got them all. My wife likes them too. So we sat down because I don't know what part they're on now, 8 or whatever it is. We just watched. We just watched all of them again, not the latest one. But and Part 3 was, and my wife's like, yeah, this one really sucked. I'm like, yeah, this Part 3 sucks. Like, this is J.J. Abrams. I'm like, yeah, he sucks in every way possible. Like, I love Part 2. It's John Woo. No one's beaten John Woo. That was like Tom Cruise is an action star, and John Woo's like a god of filmmaking, so he's on top. 4 was very good. 5's pretty good. I like 6. I'm liking all these. I know the last few have been 7 hours each or whatever for some reason. I don't know why they're like 10 hours long.
Yeah.
But they still kind of good. There's good action. I like Tom Cruise. I like the cast. Just part 3. So I'll buy the 4K set when it's all said and done and it comes out, and I just will skip part 3. But even in the one, what was the last one? Not the last one, but the second last one. They had to explain what the rabbit's foot was or something. Or it's like, right, because JJ himself doesn't know. It's like, I'll just copy. I got an idea. Why don't I just copy episode 4 of Star Wars and rename the character? Here's where I'm back with you guys. Can you figure out something on your own to do? This is where I don't want the same thing. I certainly don't want a remake of the same movie I already watched 100 times. And people who liked Force Awakens were kind of like, well, it was a nice callback. No, it's not a callback. It's a remake of the same movie. I just watched Star Wars 5 minutes. Everybody who liked it was like, well, it was good to kind of see Star Wars again. I was like, I've seen Star Wars every day. Like there's not been a year that's gone by that I've not seen at least the 3 movies for sure. I kind of like episode 1. I know that might be a hot take. I kind of like episode 1.
Yeah, that's a hot take.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a hot take. You know what? Those first 3, they're all a mess. And I contend, Attack of the Clones. That's the second one. If you cut out the Padme, stuff,
I know where you're going. I agree.
Film. That film is on point without the love story stuff.
Right. Now I did go to Burning Man, which is a festival in 2000, and we've caught in a sandstorm. So I agree, sand gets everywhere and it's very annoying.
Hey man, great line.
Other than, but like really, the acting. Natalie Portman's a good actress when she wants to act, right? Like if she cares about it. This one, she's just like, well, I'm saying my lines. And George Lucas, he's a big time storyteller, creative guy. He didn't get any pushback. Here's another problem: too much creative control, no pushback. Like nobody said, "Hey, George, you need to tighten." It's Phantom Menace. You need to tighten this movie up a bit.
That's what we were talking about just before you came back on, right? Where it's like having like a driving force or a driving vision is great, but you want everybody to be pushing in the same way. And also being able to say, that idea sucks. We're not doing that. Right. And if you can fight for it, because sometimes, just like these movies, right, you don't realize how good the idea was or how good the movie was until 5 years after it's been out.
Sometimes,
and it takes time to percolate or resonate with an audience. Sometimes when you're writing something or you're on set and there's a decision being made, it's a dumbass idea, and sometimes it's a great idea. And it's just, does the company allow for that idea to live?
It's so difficult
and make the film better.
It's hard to make a movie. I just want to, Bruno, is that your comic, the Kickstarter?
Yes.
That looks fucking awesome.
It's phenomenal.
I'll tell you that much right now. That looks freaking damn cool. I've been playing Street Fighter and Fatal Fury and all those things from the very beginnings, like at the arcade. Street Fighter 1 played, and when I learned how to do Fireball, we called it Fireball back then, and that's 2 fireballs and a kick and you're dead in Street Fighter 1. and nobody knew, well, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm not telling you. That was like we were going to our graves with that. And this is the beginnings of internet. When Street Fighter 2 came out, I would go and get a roll of quarters. I could end Street Fighter 2 in the arcade without losing any round with every character. I could end it with Dalsum. I could beat people using Dalsum without the joystick.
Nice.
I can just use my fingers and beat guys. There's just certain button arrangements that no matter how you jump, you get hit, right? I could end it with Zangief. I could and Fatal Fury, all those like Neo Geo right there. Mortal Kombat 1. I could beat people in Mortal Kombat 1 with just the joystick because Raiden, if you go up and down, it teleports and then back and forth and he does his push. And you could just ride that. People like, how are you beating? Like it got to the point where people like, you can't. And then my friend, whose name is also Jay, was better than me. We were Street Fighter. If you could beat me, then you'd go to my buddy Jay. Jay would be like, you could take care of this one. I'm like, okay. And then no one could beat me. If they beat me, then Jay came in. All right. He'd be like, what character do you want me to pick? You tell me who you want me to beat you with. And then who do you think you have the best chance with? And then he'd give them a mercy round. He'd play one round, destroy them. then I would come in and get them down to one sliver of health and then let go of the controls and let them win a round just to give them hope for the third round.
This is like the best kung fu movie ever.
No, dude, we went around. We're like, there's a guy downtown. Oh, is there? Where is he? This is like the wizard. Remember, we were Lucas. Remember Lucas and the wizard.
You were those guys when I was in high school and I was working in a comic book shop that were nightmares around the Street Fighter machine.
Yeah. No, and the other thing is we monopolized it. So you had to fight us so you could never get good. So it's like you never get, because it would open. Me and my buddy Jay, there were two Jays. The two Jays would go down. Both wear glasses. We were both chubby. It's like if we were the same person. We just walked down. All right, let's do it. Put one in, just take turns back and forth. Guys would come in. It's like, you want to challenge me? Sure. If you want to lose, you can play. And they just get losing whatever. My buddy would stay on the whole day. Like he would just, if it was challenges, stayed on the whole day.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, but your comic looks bloody awesome, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, we're gonna throw that up. We're gonna throw that up again, but so everyone can see it.
That's just the kind of people the comic is for, like the addicts of the arcade.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pages now, man. This is bad. So, are you the what? You're the writer? Okay.
Writer. Yeah, I cannot draw to save my life. So
neither can I.
Yeah. So Samuel drew and Gio did the colors, and they did all the magic.
The art looks sick too. I'll share this on my thing too. Where's the where's the link? Let me put the link in my chat also.
It's there as well too. I can put it back in for you.
I got it on the chat though. Hold on.
Okay, good. You found it.
Yeah, I got it on the chat. 1 second.
Yeah, Bruno, it looks awesome. Sorry guys, I gotta get running.
Yeah, no worries. Wilson, thanks for joining us. We're going to be ending in another minute or so, but it was awesome chopping it up with you, and thanks for contributing to some of those terrible movies that we now got to go watch.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
all right.
Look forward to talking more again. G-Man, Bruno.
Take it easy.
All right, peace out, brother.
What were some of the movies he mentioned? Anything?
Oh, I got to go back. Wilson, just give us a couple of them quick.
What were the ones?
So one I often talk about as like everyone hates it, but there's a soft spot in my heart is Biodome.
Oh, that's a great movie. Let's get that Mother Faulkner. That was the funny. That movie was hilarious. They literally named the character Faulkner just to have him say that joke. It's absolutely ridiculous. That movie knew what it wanted to do, what it wanted to be. It wanted to be stupid and silly. It's like, audience, this is stupid and silly. Are you ready? I'm ready. It's hilarious.
No, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And for its time, I was saying, like it actually talked about environmentalism and like sustainability and stuff at a time when people didn't talk about it, right? So
yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah. Oh, good.
All right, thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Wilson, take care, man. Yeah. So this is great. So just to reiterate, we have 15 days left to go with Crimson Bay. We are funded. So Bruno's got it all funded.
Awesome.
And they are a project that we love on Kickstarter. But we can get those numbers up higher on the backers, as well as push the pledge amount higher, so we can unlock some of those amazing and totally worthy stretch goals. Yeah. So, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming in and for chopping up with me for the last couple of hours. J-Man, you did an absolute Superman thing. So you started off, you got the Justice League all set up. You went off back to Metropolis, took care of business. And then as we were trying to finish up, you came in with the final blows to make sure we all go home happy. That was an absolute Superman stuff. So
you guys are the Justice Gang, the real heroes of that movie, and I'm like the loser. It's like, oh, it's my movie. Remember, it's my title.
Awesome. So Bruno, before we sign off, what do you got coming up in regards to Crimson Bay? Is there anything else that you're doing for the Kickstarter or promotionally?
Like what? No, I mean, I have Crimson Bay right now. I have a couple of other projects on pre-launch, but that's later on. At the moment I'm just trying to get it funded. A lot of social media, spending a lot more time on social media than I like, but it's the name of the game, so it is what I have to do. Yeah, and just going on, shows, talking to people who are nice enough to have me ramble about the comic. So thank you so much
right?
for that.
No, it was our pleasure having you, for sure.
That's definitely what I'm doing.
All right, perfect. And J-Man, what do you got coming up on your channel?
Oh gosh, I don't know. What are we doing this Sunday? We're doing Phantom of the Paradise is this Sunday. Every Monday is Avengers. So we talk about 4 Avengers comics. We're into 100 issues now. We do 4 of us every Monday. We're starting Fantastic Fridays. So it was Earth's Mightiest Mondays, Fantastic Friday. So Fantastic Four is coming back. We're starting with issue 103 right after Kirby's run. We're going to run that. Monday and Friday are just going to run now for a while. Sundays it rotates. So we do Imperious Rex coming up where we look at comics that came out in a certain month and of a certain year. We're into 1962. We're almost on 1962. Hopefully we can finish 1962 next Sunday. And then we just go month by month. Sometimes we do 2 months or 3 months, depending on how much off topic we get. We get at least 1 month in. So there you go.
All right. Sounds good. So everyone, if you haven't been subscribing to J-Man's channel, please do that. His channel's great, and we have a lot of fun chatting about comics, movies, and Decepticon 77 is also part of the mix. And when we do, I guess, Circle of Iron, and for my channel, it's Time Code Classics. We take a look at some retro stuff. We have some fun going back over some of the classics that you may have missed back in the past. So everyone, I want to thank you all for coming on, for all the wicked comments. Please check out Bruno's Kickstarter, and remember to keep it indie, and we'll see you in 7. All right. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.